Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 89 based on novel. So let's start. Origin continent, Huyang City, in the quiet room of the city lord's mansion. Luo Feng's consciousness completely returned to his body, and the original chaotic space in his body had long since transformed into a more vast and tenacious space. The God Kings usually open up a universe in this space, because the law of the universe is the way of their own perception. This is also a kind of practice. Boom tilde tilde tilde. Like the mighty river of heaven, the endless surging energy from the mysterious land was transformed into divine power, constantly pouring into the space in Luo Feng's body, and it has already turned into an endless ocean. And the mysterious land is still pouring. In just 3 months on Earth, the small universe in the hometown area can grow to the size of the original universe. It can be seen that the energy infusion is fierce, and now these energies are still supplying the formation of Luo Feng's divine body. Divine body transformation. Luo Feng took the initiative to guide, and the endless divine power quickly formed a new divine body. This time the divine body will be very large. I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to conceal all the auras. Luo Feng's mind moved, and immediately a clone far away in Chudu carried the Star Tower and quietly left Chudu. In just a few breaths, he brought the Star Tower to Huyang City. In the quiet room, there was a Star Tower, and Luo Feng had already entered the tower. Boom! In one of the layers of space in the Star Tower, Luo Feng no longer restrained himself and condensed the divine body at the maximum speed. The endless sea of divine power in his body space continued to lower the water level at a speed visible to the naked eye, and soon it was completely dried up. Of course, the endless energy from the mysterious land was converted into divine power, and it was still sent in continuously. Luo Feng converted all the energy sent into the divine body. 10 trillion kilometers, 11 trillion kilometers. Luo Feng felt the rapid growth of the divine body. Only 3 days had passed in the origin continent, and Luo Feng's perfect divine body had grown to its limit. The energy pouring in from the mysterious land stopped. The gift of the supreme rule, the energy pouring in, became the opportunity for the God King. My God body. Luo Feng felt himself. An endless and majestic God body, sitting cross-legged in the space of the Star Tower. The space of the Star Tower can still expand large enough to accommodate Luo Feng to fully display his God body. In the environment of the origin continent, the height of my God body is 180 trillion kilometers, which is already higher than the sky. Luo Feng understood this. The distance between heaven and earth in the origin continent is slightly different because some places are basins and some places are high mountains. The distance between heaven and earth is slightly different, but it can generally be about 100 trillion kilometers. Therefore, even in the chaos realm of infinite God body, it is difficult for the God body to be as high as the heaven and earth if it actively grows. But the God King of infinite God body is different. The God King of infinite God body, the height of the God body is generally 36 trillion kilometers. Even if they show the normal height of the God body, it is relatively easy for them to walk on the earth. Even if they shake their bodies, they can be as high as the heaven and earth. Luo Feng understood this. Ancient God Kings are as tall as the heaven and earth, which is normal. But my normal God body can't even stand upright on the origin continent. Even if I sit cross-legged, my head is probably almost touching the starry sky. Luo Feng thought. The Star Tower is amazing. The internal space of just one layer is expanded to be taller than my body, but I still feel relaxed. Luo Feng knew very well that many cave-like secret treasures have large spaces, but those with such large spaces are still invaluable. Luo Feng realized the extraordinariness of the Star Tower a long time ago, but he couldn't comprehend it for the time being. God King level perfect body, this is also the final form. In the future, do you want a stronger body? A stronger soul? You have to rely on your own practice. Luo Feng felt his powerful foundation. The foundation of the God body and the reserve of divine power far exceeded that of ordinary God Kings. The divine power is also stronger in terms of quality. Soul foundation. After becoming a God King, the small universe like the original universe, and the perfect God King body, made Luo Feng's soul much stronger. God Kings who are not practicing the soul road want to have a strong soul. They either rely on the flesh to nourish the soul, which is relatively inefficient, or they rely on some rare treasures to nourish the soul, which is even more priceless. Many people in the Chaos realm would rather reincarnate first, make up for their own shortcomings, cultivate infinite divine bodies, and then become God Kings after realizing the branches of the great Tao. Luo Feng sighed secretly. The foundation is indeed very important. World life form, transform. Luo Feng thought, and began to transform his perfect divine body into the world life form. After all, the perfect divine body is composed of divine power, and its combat power is still inferior to the world life form. As a special inheritance, the entry level of the world life form is invincible in the first level of the God King, and the upper limit is extremely high. Rumble tilde 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 tilde. With the experience of the last transformation, Luo Feng was much faster this time, and a large amount of divine power was continuously transformed. This time, I controlled the world life form much more easily. Luo Feng felt the difference. Just after breaking through to the God King, the mind and will did not improve much, but the soul was too huge. But the soul is like an army. An army of 10,000 people and an army of 1 million people. Although they are all commanded by the same general, their combat effectiveness is completely different. The soul is huge, and it can also control an even larger body. The perfect divine power is constantly transformed into a stronger world life form. This lasted for a full 5 days. 2 towering bodies sat cross-legged in the Star Tower. One was a perfect divine body in black robes, and the other was a world life form in silver robes. Half of the divine power reserves of the perfect divine body have been consumed, and it is almost at the limit of my mind and will. Silver-clothed Luo Feng stood up, rumbling. Just by standing up, his might made the surrounding space vibrate, and rumbled in the Star Tower. With a strong soul foundation and the ultimate state of mind and will, I can barely control such a terrifying body. The burden on the mind has exceeded 90%. Although the energy reserves of the perfect divine body and the world life form are equivalent, their power is very different. The burden on the mind has always exceeded 90%, which is too tiring. Normally, I'd better let this world life form sleep. Luo Feng's mind moved, and the silver-clothed Luo Feng immediately sat cross-legged. Silver-clothed Luo Feng gradually fell into a deep sleep, his breathing continued, and he continued to stir up a storm, and his consciousness fluctuations were already weak. In the sleeping state, the burden on the mind is very weak. I usually go out, so I'd better make a few weaker clones. Luo Feng's mind moved. The silver-clothed Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged, immediately flew out 3 silver lights and condensed 3 clones respectively. Each clone has about 1,000th of the energy reserve of the world life form. It is also much stronger than the world life form when I was in the Chaos realm. Luo Feng was very satisfied. From the Chaos realm to the God King, the height of the divine body has been raised 100 times, and the divine power has been transformed 100 times. From the perspective of energy, the difference is hundreds of millions of times. Today's clone is much stronger than the world life form that was condensed at all costs in the Chaos realm. A clone should be considered as the invincible of the first level of the God King. Luo Feng thought, and this clone of mine can also perform many tricks exquisitely. If I go all out, it should be higher than the normal invincible of the first level of the God King. Luo Feng made a judgment. The so-called invincible of the first level of the God King is a relatively broad concept which refers to the comprehensive reach of the second level of the God King in many means such as life-saving, attacking, and self-defense. Different invincible of the first level of the God King also have their own strengths. For example, the God King Jiayin, who cultivates both the immeasurable and cause and effect avenues, is far inferior to Luo Feng at the moment in frontal combat, but she is much better than Luo Feng in avoiding harm. A God King of the first level can defeat a God King of the second level, and a God King of the second level can defeat a God King of the ultimate level. I have never heard of this in the origin continent. But the inheritance of the treasure land infinite space is recorded. Theoretically, it can be done. Luo Feng understood this. This is only theoretically possible. For perfect level inheritance, if you want to get started, it is theoretically possible. According to the records in the world life form, in the first level of the God King, the most perfect physical body can be achieved in theory, which is the 24 phases. This is my next goal. But it can be put aside for the time being. The core in the future is the destruction origin avenue. Luo Feng thought. The 24 phases are also presented on the complete life origin avenue, that is, the 24 claws. Each claw is a phase of the life origin avenue. Each phase is a combination of 6 branches, which is more complex and mysterious than the 10-direction world form. All 24 phases must be comprehended. The difficulty is incredible. Generally, when the understanding of the 6 major branches reaches such a deep level, it may be that when you have only comprehended a few of them, the branches may have been completely integrated and entered the second level of the God King. For a long time, the world life form has been my strongest body. I need to make better use of my body now. In terms of fighting and killing, he is naturally good at destroying the origin. Luo Feng then calmed down and sensed the space in his body. This is a wider space after the evolution of the chaotic space. With Luo Feng's foundation, the space in his body is naturally thicker and wider. Other God Kings usually open up the space in their bodies into a universe. I am more suitable to open up the space in my body into the source world. Luo Feng thought, at least it is the prototype of the source world. On the one hand, it is because the requirement of the special inheritance of world life form is to open up the world in the body. And the so-called world, the ultimate goal, is the source world. On the other hand, Luo Feng's heart was integrated with the supreme rule, and he had observed the whole picture of the origin continent's origin world. Open. A thought came to his mind. The small universe far away in his hometown has been gathering divine power to transmit it over. The energy that a small universe can bear has an upper limit, but the energy required by Luo Feng for cultivation is not limited by the supreme rule. This is true for any living being. As long as you can use it, just use it. Boom tilde tilde tilde, in the space inside the body, endless energy gathered at the core and began to gather a small land, completely imitating the appearance of the origin continent, but it was just a miniature version. 99% of the energy gathered here. After that, there was a wider void area, and 3,000 micro-universes were still nurtured in the void area. The original endless world power of the world life form was also integrated into this world, causing this world to evolve naturally. The origin continent evolved to become more heavy, and even flowers, plants, and trees began to appear. The positions of the 3,000 micro-universes. The operating rules of the entire microsource world in the body are exactly the 6 major branches of life that Luo Feng has realized. The vitality inside this world is naturally rich. It's just a start. Luo Feng smiled. But after the inner world stabilized, Luo Feng relied on the world reflection, and the reflection range was suddenly much larger than before. This range. Luo Feng was also surprised. In the past, the inner world reflected the outside world, and the reflection range was about 3 chaos states. Now, with the strength of the physical body, the inner world is wider, the foundation is more powerful, and the reflection range has also climbed to 16 chaos states. Under normal circumstances, it is difficult to expand the world reflection range. Even if the foundation is greatly enhanced, the reflection range may only expand a little. From 3 chaos states to 16 chaos states, it can be seen that Luo Feng has improved greatly this time. 16 chaos states. Although Luo Feng is in Huyang City, everything in the 16 chaos states, even a grain of dust, is under Luo Feng's observation. Many strange beasts and 12 chaos realms in such a vast area, all of them are unaware of Luo Feng's observation. I am the world. Nothing can escape. Silver-clad Luo Feng stood above Huyang City. He had his own laws of the world in his body. The supreme rules around him temporarily retreated. Various energies around him, different time and space layers, and even causal entanglements, everything was under Luo Feng's observation. Finally, I am close to the Lord of Qiankun. Luo Feng smiled. Polu Mountain, in Zhong Yun's cave. Yunj, is there something going on between you and Qing Yang? Zhong Yun's father contacted. What's wrong? Zhong Yunj asked in confusion. What happened? Qing Yang took back the right to use the Purple Cloud Palace in Xiangjie City, and our family chamber of commerce was forced to move out. Now there are rumors in Xiangjie City you and Qing Yang may have broken up. Qing Yang has never denied it. Zhong's father said anxiously, our chamber of commerce's business in Xiangjie City has declined greatly. Originally, Zhong Yunj was in charge of some of the business of the family chamber of commerce, and that's how he got to know Mo Yu Qing Yang. He took back the right to use the Purple Cloud Palace? Zhong Yunj was silent. What happened to the two of you? Zhong's father asked. We separated a long time ago. Zhong Yunj did not hide it anymore. How can you separate? Zhong's father was shocked and angry. Why not? As a cultivator, you can stay together if you want to, and separate if you want to. Do I have to tell you, father? Zhong Yunj said, and now, I just want to practice in Polu Mountain with all my heart. You. Zhong's father was furious. Since his daughter was with Mo Yu Qing Yang, his status in the family has greatly improved, and the business of the family chamber of commerce he is in charge of has also improved comprehensively. I have given up. Zhong Yunj said. Zhong's father was helpless. Since his daughter became an eternal true god through practice, it has been difficult for him to control her. Okay, then you must seize the opportunity of Mount Polu and practice well. Father Zhong could only say this. Of course I understand. Zhong Yunj responded and cut off the communication. Ancient Yangfeng country, Chu capital, Emperor Chu Palace. In the ancient hall, a towering figure opened his eyes and murmured, it is too difficult to fully comprehend a complete origin road. No wonder that lineage of enlightened ones has the most honorable status. After stopping his practice, Emperor Chu looked around. All the rules around him were operating without hiding anything. He also noticed the change in one of the many causes and effects entangled with him. The reason why he paid attention to this strand of cause and effect was because this strand of cause and effect was deeply entangled. This was the cause and effect between him and his direct disciple Luo Feng. In the origin continent, the relationship between master and disciple is no less than that of blood relatives, and the cause and effect entanglement can be imagined. Luo Feng, he broke through? Emperor Chu smiled. He could sense that the other end of the cause and effect entanglement, Luo Feng, was much stronger. In the sense of cause and effect, he is much stronger than before, and can be comparable to the second level of the God King. Emperor Chu was naturally happy that his disciple was so powerful. Luo Feng, come to see me quickly. Di Chu transmitted his voice through cause and effect. Yes, master. Luo Feng also responded through cause and effect. In the past, Luo Feng did not have the ability to transmit his voice through cause and effect. After becoming a God King, the laws of the operation of his world became much stronger, and his control over cause and effect also deepened. Soon, Luo Feng rushed to Di Chu Palace. Master. Luo Feng entered the hall and immediately bowed respectfully. This clone also contains 1,000th of the energy reserve of the world's life form. Just relying on this clone, it is enough to be called the invincible strength of the first level of the God King. The gap between me and Master is still very large. Luo Feng's perception was clearer this time. In the perception, Master Dichu was like the incarnation of the complete destruction of the origin of the avenue, as if the vast world was difficult to shake, and every move had endless destructive power. Luo Feng's clone's ability to save his life was still better than the ancestor of the Snow Realm, but Luo Feng felt that if the master took action, this clone would be completely annihilated in 2 or 3 moves. Good. Emperor Chu's eyes were shining as he observed his disciple from many aspects and praised him. Luo Feng, I didn't expect that you could cultivate the 2 origins of life and matter to such a high level just after becoming a divine king. The combination of the 2 is even more ingenious, and you have achieved such a powerful body. Master, you are too kind. Luo Feng felt a little ashamed. He did not practice the great Tao of the origin of matter. What he really practiced were the two great Taos of life and destruction. No need to be modest. Dichu praised. There are only a handful of people in the entire origin continent who have reached the invincible first level of the Divine King without the help of external forces. And you have reached this level just after becoming a Divine King. Ha ha, no amount of praise is too much. Master, what do you think of my body? What should I pay attention to when facing a powerful enemy in the future? Luo Feng asked. The master was much more knowledgeable than himself. Your body is tough and solid, and it is difficult to erase. You have deeply understood the mystery of the great Tao of the origin of matter. Dichu said, and the great Tao of the origin of life is also integrated into it. I have a feeling. Even if I use all my strength to kill you with one move, your body can still recover from nothingness and your vitality is extremely strong. I'm afraid I'll have to use several moves in succession, and each move must break the cage membrane and annihilate everything before I can completely annihilate your body. Dichu said, below the level of the Emperor, I'm afraid it's impossible to erase your body. Luo Feng understood. Both the paths of life and matter are difficult to erase. The combination of the two is naturally superimposed. It's just that the life form of the world is too burdensome to the mind. Generally, it is impossible to perform exquisite moves. Luo Feng can only perform exquisite moves when he controls the 1000th reserve of clones. I know that you are also good at the art of clones. Dichu smiled. At your stage, even if the emperors and monarchs want to kill you, they must use their real bodies to kill one of your clones in an instant, and your other clones will have enough time to perform the reincarnation method. Luo Feng himself knew that his ability to save his life was even better than his master thought. The true body of the world life form has 1,000 times the energy reserve of the clone. Even if the emperors and monarchs are powerful, it will take some time to destroy them. Of course, it will only take a little more time. Looking at the entire origin continent, there are only 4 people who can completely kill you. Dichu said. Which 4? Luo Feng asked. The 2 ancestors, the ancestor in the East Pole domain, and Di Qing. Dichu said, they have all surpassed the ultimate realm of the God King. Luo Feng was shocked. In the past, his master did not elaborate on the top level of power in the origin continent, but this time he did not cover it up. Dichu looked at Luo Feng. You have cultivated to your current level, and you should know some of the real terrifying existences in the origin continent. These 4 are very aloof, and you can't provoke them now. Dichu smiled. And said, when you can provoke them one day, the gap between you and them will probably not be that big. Luo Feng was surprised to find that Dichu was looking at him with a smile. Be confident, maybe one day you can be stronger than the 2 ancestors. How can a cultivator not have confidence? Yes. Luo Feng replied. No matter what, you should still avoid the emperors and monarchs. Dichu said, especially those who practice the Hunyuan bloodline. They are polluted by the Hunyuan bloodline day and night, and their tempers are not very good. Disciple understands. Luo Feng replied. There are still monarch-level strongmen who are half out of control in the Thunder Ancient country. Although other emperors and monarchs are not out of control, their bad tempers are completely understandable. Luo Feng has seen Chu Yuinho's temper. The path of cultivation is difficult. When you reach the 2nd level of the Divine King, you will feel it more clearly. Dichu said. Just like it is easy to comprehend 10 basic laws, but it is many times more difficult to integrate the 10 laws into one and comprehend the law of chaos. Similarly, it is easy to comprehend several branches of the Great Tao, but it is very difficult to perfectly integrate them into one, to comprehend a complete Great Tao. Even I can't do it. Dichu looked at Luo Feng. The emperors and monarchs are all life forms in the ultimate Divine King realm, but they almost all rely on external forces. Dichu said, only Di Qing and the Lord of the 10,000 Realms have truly comprehended a complete Great Tao of origin in this current reincarnation era on the origin continent. Luo Feng nodded. The 2 ancestors who surpassed the ultimate Divine King realm and the ancestor of the Eastern Extreme Domain were all from the previous reincarnation era. Di Qing is indeed powerful. As one of the two peerless masters who have realized the complete origin of the avenue, he has even surpassed the ultimate realm in this era. No wonder he is so transcendent among the 13 emperors. There are 3 ways to enter the ultimate realm of the God King in terms of life level. Di Chu explained carefully to his apprentice. The first way is to realize a complete origin of the avenue. This is the most difficult way. Di Qing and the Lord of the 10,000 Realms took this path. The second way is for your master like me. With the help of a powerful inheritance, at the peak of the second level of the God King, I realized the ultimate realm life-body secret method. With this secret method, supplemented by precious Han Yuan materials, my life can completely enter the level of the ultimate realm of the God King. After the transformation of life, every move will have endless power. The second is the Han Yuan bloodline, tapping the potential of the Han Yuan bloodline, and transforming my life body to the ultimate realm of the God King. This path is relatively the easiest, with a high upper limit, but it can cause great troubles. Di Chu said. Luo Feng understood. 3 paths, the essence of life can reach the ultimate realm. Even if the master took this path, Luo Feng could also realize the difficulty. First of all, there must be a secret method that records the ultimate realm life-body secret method. It is necessary to comprehend the ultimate realm level secret method at the second level of the God King realm. Secondly, precious resources are supplied to practice it. In terms of strength, we emperors and monarchs should be weaker than the Lord of the 10,000 Realms who have comprehended the complete avenue. Their secret methods are more exquisite. Emperor Chu smiled, but we have powerful weapons and secret treasures given by our ancestors. With the secret treasures, we are naturally enough to rival the Lord of the 10,000 Realms and the World Beast. Luo Feng understood. The 13 emperors of the Yangfeng royal family, the weakest are all World Beast level. And they are good at different abilities. When they cooperate with each other, they are even more terrifying. There are also Emperor Ming, Emperor Fu, and Emperor Qing, each one is more dazzling than the other. Of course, there is also a Yangfeng ancestor behind the royal family, who does not participate in the Battle of the Origin Continent at all. This is the strength of the high-level royal family of the Yangfeng ancient country. Luo Feng sighed secretly. No wonder the 2 royal families occupy most of the resources. The strength of the 2 royal families is overwhelming in the Origin Continent. Even the Lord of the 10,000 Realms and the Beast of the Qinmu Kingdom have to find a way to make friends with the 2 ancient countries. The Dongji region can only shrink in the corner of the continent. The monarchs of the Thunder ancient country are also very scary. Emperor Chu said, because the Thunder ancestor himself is on the Han Yuan bloodline route, the monarchs of the Thunder ancient country are all practicing the Han Yuan bloodline, and the strength they can exert is even more difficult and more terrifying than the emperors of our Yangfeng ancient country who practice the Han Yuan bloodline. In addition to the royal families of the 2 ancient countries, there are the idol god kings. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. Origin Continent's other creatures account for the majority, and the number of god kings of the second level that they have bred is much greater than that of our royal family. Luo Feng certainly understood that there were quite a few god kings of the second level in the Samsara building. Among this group of god kings of the second level, there are also amazing talents. Their talents may even surpass my master. Emperor Chu said, they have practiced multiple avenues and cultivated special inheritances. Even if the essence of life has not been crossed, they can still be comparable to us with many powerful secret methods. These idol god kings of the second level, they also need to practice, they also want to become stronger, and they also want to become the ultimate realm. Naturally, they compete with our 2 royal families for resources. Emperor Chu smiled, they want to compete, and the royal family also wants to compete, so naturally there will be conflicts and hatred. In the Origin Continent, there are still some alien races secretly stirring up trouble. Emperor Chu shook his head, Luo Feng, as your strength becomes stronger and stronger, you must be cautious in everything you do. I was foolishly used without knowing it. As he spoke, Di Chu stretched out his hand and a stream of light flew towards Luo Feng. After touching Luo Feng, a lot of information was transmitted. Luo Feng was shocked. Information about the alien races in the dark, information about some terrifying existences in the origin continent, information about many treasured places, information about some opportunities left by Yuan, and detailed information about many terrifying strong men. Except for the very few descriptions of Di Qing, the ancestor of the East Extreme Domain, and the two great ancestors, the four, transcend the ultimate realm of the God King, all other strong men were recorded in detail, even some imprisoned crazy existences were recorded. Each piece of information would be very expensive if you really wanted to buy it, and now it has all been given to Luo Feng. Thank you, Master. Luo Feng was grateful. I am your master. Di Chu said, by the way, there are some God Kings in the origin continent who practice the great way of cause and effect. They have a deeper control over cause and effect, and can also determine that your life has transformed through cause and effect. Therefore, the news that you have become a God King will spread soon. You must be prepared. This video will end here.